you'll see America's favorite sport on WHBQ television.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales and special guests.
I have always been educated that the start of September marked the beginning of fall and the end of summer. But they fooled us for sure. It's September the 1st, our first September show. This is Randy Hales for Talking Memphis Wrestling. It's 95 degrees at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we're in the middle of a run that they have said we're going to have about 100-degree days in a row. Can you believe that? Appreciate everybody talking to us now. Team Hills member Jeremy Gibson is in the house, and he says, time for Talking Memphis Wrestling. Alexander is in the house, my good friend from Mississippi. Calvin in the house. By the way, did I say Jeremy? He's talking a couple of times for sure. And Tracy is in the house from good old Truman, Arkansas. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's fired up. Hope everybody's looking forward to this edition of Talking Memphis Wrestling, and we're very, very, very excited about it. Man, Alexander in Mass, around Boston, I would assume, is 68 degrees there, and boy, isn't the temperature different? And now he's saying, he did say 68, it is 62 degrees. My buddy Shane, what is going on with you? Now, I guess I'll do an update on the status of what's going on today. First of all, Adam Dunn is in the house. He's behind the computer. He is making me either look good or look bad. He's never failed me yet. Make me look good. So if anybody makes me look bad, it's me. Can't blame Adam. Now, Michael St. John, you know, he's the owner of Fun Radio, and this is his busiest time of the year with football season, high school football, Alabama football, all kinds of football. And this is the third week in a row that Michael has not been able to be with us, and certainly we miss Michael every time. Pat Trammell is a few minutes ago pulled up to his driveway, so he should be on the show in just a few minutes. As I'm looking at my texts, he said he pulled in about 3 minutes ago, and he'll be on in a second. So we're doing a little stretching deal, but folks, I think you will be excited. I think you will enjoy what we'll see today. We'll have a lot of laughs. We'll have a lot of pictures, a lot of discussion, and listen to the video you will see here today. We'll go back to November the 18th, 1985. I'll read that card in a little bit. We'll talk about the combination event with Jim Crockett Promotions. This was the second event of the year for 1985, and the main event was Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, NWA champion, against Coco Ware. This match, 24 minutes, 36 seconds, and it is sensational. Also, we have an interesting clip, it's about 30 minutes clip from USWA TV. Now, there was a time in 95, my booking run was about 2 years in, and they had construction at the TV station, so we couldn't do our show there. So we pre-taped the ins and outs and used the matches from the house shows. We pre-taped the ins and outs, the opening closes from Nashville, from Louisville, and the particular show we're showing today is from the Memphis at the Mid-South Coliseum with Corey and Lance. So very interesting. We'll show that today. Also in 1996, Saga of Randy Hales, it's when Randy lost his mind. Frank Seaton is in the house. Hey, Frank, what's going on? And Alexander, obviously, this is not the question and answer time. This is right before we go with our first take and see your question. And later on in the show, if you would send that again. And now, here on Talking Memphis Wrestling, the OG of the show, the original co-host of the show. I believe he was in Mobile this weekend. He's a traveling man. He is a traveling man for sure. He is my buddy, Pat Trammell, back from Mobile, back from Pensacola. Maybe he saw Shane Russell. I don't know if he found him or not. Welcome to the show. Very loaded show. And here we go with the first take time, Mr. Pat Trammell.
Well, I did. I just slid in from Pensacola. I had an event Saturday night. Friend of mine's second wedding, and so that was good enough. If you want to do that the second time, I can't imagine that. But anyway, was in Pensacola for a presentation today, and jumped in the car and just skidded into the driveway. So good to see everybody. I quickly looked over the show, and I've got questions, but we'll get into that.
Do you have questions before we get going, or do you
No,
want to get going?
I want to get going, and then I'll have questions. Hey, Frank. Hey, Shane. Hey, Alexander. Good to see everybody.
Man, Pat loves saying hi to people after I've spent 5 minutes doing the same thing. Good job, Mr. Trammell. Good
Well,
job.
they're here. Look, they're here for me. They're here for me. Where's Gail? She's here for me. Hey, Mike. All right.
Let's leave that to me, saying hi to everybody. Okay?
Well,
I'm the host of this here thing.
they're
You are
saying,
the
hey,
star.
Pat.
You are the star of this thing, but I am the host of this thing.
All right.
If you're not the star of this thing, just ask you, and you will say for sure. Man, I'm excited about this show today. Big time. We have a lot of great video, but before we do, I want to get to some pictures right now because this is September the 1st, and I want to go to the very last picture we have in the graphics section, and it's photo 5967, Pat. I think you will be interested in this. This was the ad. As a matter of fact, I typed it on my little typewriter after Eddie Marlin gave it to me on the phone, not a cell phone because we didn't have a cell phone. My landline at the time was, before the area code was 870, it was 501 932 3011. He'd call me on the phone, give me the card. I would get on my bicycle because I don't know if by then I might have been driving age, and I would, after typing the card up, I would take it to the Jonesboro Sun newspaper, and they print it in the Thursday and Saturday fixture. Listen to this Labor Day weekend special. A whopping 14 wrestlers on the card at the American Legion Arena. This is before the auditorium. This is the original location, and this is the card. The opening match. Man, Pat, man, the opening match of the evening was two rookies. Two rookies, both became members of great tag team. Danny Davis, the future Nightmare, Rick Morton, the future Rock and Roll Express. They were kids, they were teenagers. This was in Jonesboro, Arkansas, where the Randy Hales story began. Danny Davis, Rick Morton in this opening match in Jonesboro at the American Legion Arena. And before I throw to you for your input on the first card, I was ring announcing at this time, and I've told our Team Hales member, I've told you, I've told Michael, I've told everybody. I had the microphone in hand, and as we lowered the lights, the wash tub ring light over that. They would take a microphone from the ceiling, they would roll it or lower it down. Then at that point, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand as we honor our country in the playing of our national anthem? After the national anthem, then I would say, funny, I did this starting in 1977. I can still tell you, Pat. Good evening. The American Legion, picket post number 21, welcomes you to another Saturday night of TV5 Wrestling, sponsored by American Legion Picket Post number 21, conducted under the rules and regulations of the State of Arkansas Athletic Commission. Today's main event will be a six-man tag team match. This card features the Freebirds, the Hawk, and much, much more. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's bell time.
All right.
All right. What do you think as we lose that graphic? What did you think the way I set that up? And do you have any questions on this card? Hogan's first appearance in Jonesboro, where the Randy Hales story began.
I do. I have several questions. Could you pop it back up on the screen so I'll make sure I get through with it, through everything?
Okay.
Now, did the number one? This is a generic question. Did the state athletic commission sanction these matches at that time, or were they out of that?
Yes, you had two things in the state of Arkansas. You had an athletic commission that you had to have licensed. The wrestlers had to have a license. The referee had to have a license. The timekeeper had to have a license. The ring announcer had to have a license. Certainly, that did happen for sure.
Okay, now I'm asking some questions here. This was 1970. 1979. Okay. Were Gordy and Hayes calling themselves the Freebirds at this time?
No.
Okay. Okay. How old was Eddie Gilbert?
I would think Eddie Gilbert would have been 18 years old.
And Ricky Morton may have been 21 at the time.
Maybe 20.
Okay.
And a little older.
Okay. So we've got some youngsters here. I wonder if was there a minimum age for wrestling?
Now, in the state of Kentucky, we had debuted Eddie Gilbert when he was just 17 years old. He could wrestle in Arkansas. He could wrestle in Memphis. He could wrestle on TV. However, he could not wrestle in the state of Kentucky. Real quick, this card, opening match, Rick Morton against Danny Davis. Dallas Montgomery, local guy, against big, mean outlaw Ron Bass. Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes against the Hulk. The Incredible Hulk is what he was called at this time. Terry Boulder, his tag team partner, not Lord Steven Regal, but Indiana's Steven Regal. And the main event was a six-man tag team match with the team in 1979 on September the 1st, Jerry Lawler and the Blonde Bombers, Wayne Ferris and Larry Latham against Eddie Marlin, Tommy Gilbert, and Eddie Gilbert. Throw it back to you, Pat.
And so this was heel Lawler, and I guess heel Hulk, or was it?
Babyface Hulk.
Babyface Hulk. Okay.
Heel
Okay.
Freebirds.
Okay. Okay. Now I don't. I remember the name, but I don't recall Dallas Montgomery.
He's just a local guy. I don't think he's from Jonesboro. I think from Blytheville. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think so. Just a local guy. And the reason they used him was because he was old enough he could go to Louisville and Evansville, and they had the feud going on with the Waynes and the Gilberts and just different things going on theirs. So Eddie and Tommy would wrestle in Memphis and in Jonesboro together. But in Louisville, Eddie couldn't go, so they put Dallas Montgomery in that role.
Okay. And
Another quick,
how
I'll answer a question. Alexander said, I bet Jim Cornette was there ringside shooting photos. Cornette lived in Louisville, 460 miles away, and I'm pretty sure to say that Cornette's first appearance in Jonesboro was in the 80s once he became a manager. I would pretty much bet that. Any other comments on this card?
well how many seats did the arena hold?
The American Legion Arena, this is before it switched to the auditorium. You could jam pack, squeeze in, make people miserable around 900 people. It
Okay.
was considered a sellout probably at 750. You would violate every fire code in the world with 1,000 people.
So you probably had a seven. How many people? 750. So you probably had a times three. You probably had a $2,200 gate if you sold it pretty much out, full house. I'm assuming.
Um, I bet this did 1,800.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I am guessing, but what a heck of a thing. And believe it or not, 14 wrestlers on the card plus a referee, that's 15. That's a big card back in those days, Pat.
That's a big card, and I was looking, and I'm counting Memphis and WWE Hall of Fame. There's probably 12 to 14 Hall of Famers on that card.
Hey, Dr. Robinson is watching, says hello to me and you both. And Alexander, yes, I think I made it clear that it wasn't British wrestler Steve Regal at all. And different people asking questions. And it's so much for sure. I can't keep up with all of it. Somebody asked, was the CWA brand name for the live events pre 1985? Pretty much in the late 70s, it was just championship wrestling. It didn't start probably into the 80s where it said CWA. Another thing, and we mentioned it last week, Pat, for sure, and I think we need to mention it now. The next to last picture, bottom row, is 5968, and we want to.
Hey, hey,
It's not my birthday today. This is a cool little picture. I love that bar painted by Jerry Lawler, and we had programs and pictures and 8x10s and all kinds of stuff. This is Dave Brown. Today, Pat, we say on behalf of Talking Memphis Wrestling, we say happy 80th birthday to legendary Memphis broadcaster and wrestling announcer, my friend, the great Dave Brown.
I saw that. I saw that today pop up on social media, and I tell you, Dave is in outstanding shape for 80 years old. I think he's in better shape at 80 as I am at 63.
All right.
He
Happy
can get in
birthday.
and out of the. He can get in and out of that Corvette, which I have trouble doing.
Heck, he's tall too. Dave is tall. I don't know how he's ever done it.
I
I
know.
don't know how he's ever done it. James is in the house and Richard's in the house. Richard's saying hello to both of us. James saying hello to all of us. And it's certainly great to have a loaded Talking Memphis Wrestling show. Now, we'll get to some more pictures in just a few minutes, but I want to go into the video portion. But you look like a person with something on your mind, a thought to say. So before I pitch to this first video, I will pitch back to my co-host, Pat Trammell.
Well, as you know, I kind of came skidding into the driveway to get in here, but this is a fascinating card to me, and it is because there are so many Hall of Famers there, but there's so many people in their first or second year of wrestling, and it has to be interesting for you, Randy, to watch those guys come in and then go up the card, start drawing sellouts, and there's so many on there tonight.
Adam, go ahead and put that Jonesboro card back on. And just think of it as this. First of all, looking uh, at this card is just amazing. Jerry Lawler is a WWE Hall of Famer. Terry Gordy, Michael Hayes, Hall of Famers. Hulk Hogan, the Immortal, need we say more? And certainly you had Eddie Gilbert, as you're saying, Danny Davis and Rick Morton all had fantastic careers. And the building block, not only Mid South Coliseum in Memphis and TV5 wrestling, they honed their skills by coming to Jonesboro, coming to Blytheville, coming to Tupelo. It was so important. To me, the wrestlers of that time had much more of a chance, as we can lose that graphic at them, had much more of a chance, Pat, as a learning curve. I don't think they took them as long and years because of the fact that they wrestled every single day of the week, sometimes two or three times on a Saturday and Sunday. I mean, it was just amazing. So they get those repetitions, they get it, and they get so much experience, so much experience, and so I think that's a big advantage that the territory system, to me, got the people ready, not just for New York, because you weren't too much worried about that. Worried, you got them ready to be able to draw money wherever the case. Most people on that card drew money all over the world. It's just an interesting concept, interesting situation, and I miss territories, Pat.
Well, I do too. And if you look at the list of those Hall of Famers, and Wayne Ferris, Honky Tonk Man, WWE Hall of Famer too, and you you watch your kids grow up if you have any, and my oldest is kind of moving into something of a career now, and he's kind of learning that the Honky Tonk Man and Lawler and all the Hall of Famers on that card, they earned that Hall of Fame on Tuesday night in Jonesboro,
Saturday
right?
night in Jonesboro.
Saturday night in Jonesboro, Tuesday night in Louisville, and don't diminish the talks in the car with the Fargos and the Tojos of the world, right?
Oh,
That's
it
how
was
you learn your craft.
so important for sure. Certainly, it's a lot different when you wrestle 5 or 6, 7 times a week than when you wrestle once or twice.
All right, and let me ask you something as a booker, Randy. Would that match travel for the week? Would that card travel for the week? Would that card be the same card or close in Louisville?
No, no, we're close. No.
Okay, okay,
Now,
okay.
it might have been the same card the night before, either in Blytheville or Tupelo, but certainly it wouldn't be the same card as Memphis or the same card as Louisville or Evansville or Nashville.
Well, you think about, and I think about the great matches between, for example, just to throw one out, and there's dozens we could throw out. Lawler and Dundee. I don't know if I could even. venture a guess as to how many times they've been across from each other in the ring? I'm assuming hundreds.
I would think thousands.
Yeah, and once you do that, you learn to work with somebody. And when
Absolutely.
when we see those great matches in the Memphis Coliseum, those matches are born in the territory small towns on a Tuesday night in front of 250 people, right? That's where your craft is learned.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For sure. When it's hot, when there's no air conditioning, when the people's ready to riot, when people don't have anything to lose, it's just the greatest thing in the world. I'm one of the few people that would get a smile on his face when in the middle of a riot. And I think most people that I hung out, same thing. We're just born a little different, born a little weird. When most people panic on the riot, I would now, honestly to God, I would not. I would get away from, all right, we showed the tape of the hair match a couple weeks ago. Who was right there with those heels?
Hmm. You
We were
were.
showing the near riot from the hair match a couple of weeks ago. Who was right there at the end when the people were ready to riot? Who was right there walking the heels back to the dressing room?
You were.
Absolutely. Not scared a bit. Didn't have enough sense to be scared. You just knew it was for sure. Certainly, it's great. Hey, I'll never make this. Sometimes we do make this about old school against new school and what these guys do now with the WWE or AEW or whatever the case. You cannot compare it. It's two different things. It was territories then. Everybody from New York to Jonesboro, Arkansas. It was kayfabe situation. Now, every single person watching this show today, every person that can click on the internet, are smart to the business. So if they do 1,000 high spots, and like the other night in London, AEW drawing 45,000 people, if they kicked out after a finish at the count of one, but there was millions of dollars in the house, millions of dollars, and 45, 50,000 people in the building. If they kick out at the count of one, everybody's smart anyway. 45,000 people are going crazy. There's more billion-dollar wrestlers these days than there was ever. We struggled every day, had the time of our life, struggled every day. No doubt about it. And we'll say hello for Pat and for me. PJ is in the house. You have to be realistic of what's going on. Does Pat Trammell like watching a 70s match or 80s match that we're fixing to watch in a few minutes better than what's going on now? Certainly he does. Do I? Certainly. But we can't be locked in the closet and don't realize that they cater, the WWE and AEW don't cater to 60 and 70-year-old men. They don't.
Yeah.
I say more power to them. Would I have
Yeah.
hired somebody at some of the stuff that happened in AEW if it happened in the 80s or 90s? Sure, I would have. Now, I'd have bonus some of them that put their life at stake. Now I'm thinking that's not too wise. It's a work, but they basically kill themselves. I would have given them a bonus. I mean, what they're doing is risking their life. What they're doing is dangerous. And if it's not your cup of tea, watch Talking Memphis Wrestling on a Tuesday night. Right, Pat?
That's right. I wish I knew this, and I think Cornette said this one time. He was comparing um, how many people are were making a living full time wrestling full time in the 1970s and 80s versus today.
I think there's more today.
I, How?
Because most territories had 12 or 14 people in them.
Well, and how many territories were there?
16. So how many is that?
300. I don't know. I can't do that math. Well, 10 times 16 is 160, and add other 200, 250 wrestlers probably.
Most of them barely getting by. I'm thinking between the money wrestling companies, which is two, I'm thinking there's probably 150 of them making $1 million a year, making $1 million a year.
Yeah.
Well, Cornette does say that, and wrestling for me, a 65-year-old man, was a lot better. Now, the wrestlers of today's time don't have to go out and work 7 times a week. If a wrestler breaks their leg, you know what happened back then when a wrestler broke his leg?
He set up and healed and then didn't get paid, right?
Didn't
Unless
get
probably he was, somebody was helping him out a little bit.
the wrestlers would take donations up, and he'd be responsible for his own hospital bill. The wrestlers now have medical and all that kind of stuff. So certainly, I prefer those times, Pat, but you can't just say everything was better than there is now. To me, you just can't do it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Absolutely. Somebody's watching it when they're drawing like you say they are, and there's 3 or 4 primetime shows on. I mean, it's working.
It's the $1 billion a year industry. It's just amazing. Hey, we're 31 minute in. I want to explain to you about 1985. In 1985, they had the first Crockett Jarrett combined show. Did it the first time in September. Had a hell of a house, almost 10,000 people. Flair against Lawler. Later on, a few months later, Bill Dundee had returned as the booker from Mid-South Wrestling and Bill Watts, and he had beat Jerry Lawler for the championship, for the Southern Heavyweight Championship. And then they had a November 18th card, WCW or Jim Crockett Promotions and the USWA, a combined show on November the 18th, 1985 at the Mid-South Coliseum. Now, booked as the main event, as was always, Ric Flair, the NWA champion, against the Southern Heavyweight champion. The week before, Bill Dundee had cheated, the no good son of a gun, and had defeated Jerry Lawler for the title. So it was advertised in the newspaper, everywhere else, that it was going to be Bill Dundee against Ric Flair. That's two heels going against each other. And I guarantee you, Dundee was a heel, but he's a local guy, even though he's from Australia. Flair would have been the heel. And they didn't want that because Dundee had just switched and they were leading for later in December, a loser leave town. Lawler, it was important for Dundee to have heat. So they decided to do a thing. Coco came out and challenged Dundee on the Saturday TV for the Southern title and ended up beating Dundee. And that meant he could get a world title match. They didn't want to go with Lawler and Flair again, didn't want to go with Dundee and Flair at all. So they went with Coco with the idea. The rumor is Flair, when he got in the cab and was bragging he's going to be Jerry Lawler's brains out or Bill Dundee's brains out, and the cab driver said, "You're wrestling Coco Ware," and Ric Flair said, "Who the hell is that?" And he was mad about it, and then they end up having a match. In the video situation, we won't want to go ahead and go to this tape. This is the NWA title. It's Coco getting his chance at it. It's 24 minutes and 36 seconds. Adam Dunn producing, Pat Trammell. We're missing Michael St. John. William, Tony and everybody else, and we watch this video right now on Talking Memphis Wrestling 2436.
I got to tell you, when it was announced that Coco Ware would be going against Ric Flair, those of the uninitiated, I might say, didn't believe there was going to be much of a bout. The Mid-America champion, Coco, may be the most underrated wrestler in the United States. He went in against Flair, and Flair had all he could handle. The bell has sounded. Ric Flair, who is disturbed, upset that the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, has chosen to be out here as a second-hand advisor for the underdog challenger, Coco Ware. Coco, the Mid-America heavyweight champion, 220 pounds out of Union City, Tennessee. What a scrapping young athlete this is. The thrill of his life, a chance to become the world heavyweight champion. Coco, the first black challenger in the Mid-South Coliseum against a world heavyweight champion, and a chance to win that title right here tonight. One fall, 60-minute title match. Flair rolled up.
This
He
happened
kicks his feet and
November
he's
the
back
18th,
out. He's on the referee. I don't know what about pulling the trunks out of it. He holds in, gets a count of one. And Ric Flair, who really is set off in a nasty mood because Dusty Rhodes is out here at ringside and Flair doesn't like it a bit.
The fantastic
Coco Ware.
Tommy Rock.
What a sensational opportunity for this young guy. I say, we've seen Coco in a lot of ups and downs, Randy. What a great moment this is.
That's right, both of us, Lance. So our very first professional match, it makes you very proud to know that even though he's had those attitude problems, that he's in here for the World Heavyweight Championship. And win, lose, or draw, Coco can be very proud of the fact that he has received this shot, Lance.
We were talking to Coco before the match, and as you might expect, this young fellow from Union City, Tennessee, going against such a distinguished character as the World Heavyweight Champ, Ric Flair, he is very nervous. He's going through basics, and that's a smart thing. I think Dusty advised him of that. Stick with the basics till you get yourself settled in there and ready to go into a rhythm. He's going with a side headlock. He mares Flair over. He's hanging on to the headlock. Boy, you know, and I know, the Birdman can flat go. One of the best drop kicks ever seen in professional wrestling. And Ric Flair, who thinks he's got a surefire pushover in this young fellow from Union City, may be in for an amazing shock of his life. Ware hanging with that side headlock on Flair. Dusty hollering up a little advice from time to time. Forearm shot to Ware. Shoulder puts Flair down on the deck. Over the top. Nice leapfrog by the champion. Reversal. And Flair bites it. Coco. Snapmare over and down. Count of one. And Flair gets that right shoulder up. Oh, boy. You know, it always blows my mind when I think how close. There was a split second. One more count. And Coco Ware is the world champion.
It's so close, Lance. I mean, makes me nervous just watching this. You don't like to be prejudiced, but when you've known the guy for years, you'd love to see him get the chance and would love to see him win the world title.
Oh, and this turned the wrestling world over. Back off the ropes, and the referee says, okay, fellas, let's keep it that way, nice and clean. Flair can get your dander up without a question, but what a class wrestler he is, man. He can get on that ring hard. The only thing I would point out, he is expecting to have a relatively easy time. Though he's smart enough as champion to know wherever you go, whenever you're against a man in the ring on any given night, it could happen. Nice set of moves from the champ, but it's reversed on it. Wasn't expecting the speed. Look at that scissors. He pitches Coco forward, and Coco fires up at him, and now he's not having it. He's not having any of Flair pushing him around. champion. He may be nervous, and I think all of that's by the board. As Flair, whoa! Koko brings some credentials in as the Mid-America champion.
What an athlete.
And I think Flair
Koko Ware was, Pat.
just thought he was dealing with
What'd you
another
say?
local yokel.
What an athlete
Could push
Koko
him
was.
around the way he wanted to.
He was really an incredible football player.
Push him, Koko.
Absolutely.
Koko getting his tempo going now. Got the crowd behind him as the champion steps through the ropes again. Oh, what a quick move. Flair popped that knee to the midsection. Hit him with a chop so fast. Blisters Koko Ware with that chop. Tags him again. Ware back with a right. They're trading him up there now. Dusty out of his chair. Rooting Koko on. Nail him, nail him. Ric Flair down in the middle of the ring. Koko covers him. Oh, he almost got him. I mean, he was that close. And Ric Flair, with a little fright in his eyes, for the first time as he realized how close he was to losing his championship. Flair stops him with a knee, chops him. They're trading licks again. Flair down. 1, 2, but the leg on the rope breaks it. Oh, brother.
He was great at that. He was great at that.
Fantastic.
The KG champion popped the leg up at the right time. He couldn't shake Koko. Flair in the corner saying, hold it, hold it. 7 minutes into the action, and Koko Ware stunning the world champion. Misses an elbow, does Flair. Flying press. Kicks him out at the count of 2, and Koko keeps the pressure. Whoa! Flair jumps out of the ring and meets Dusty Rhodes head on. Dusty, in case you just joined us, serving as the second, and look out, it may be bye-bye champion. Flair taking a stroll as Dusty telling Koko, be ready for him, look out, don't let him con you.
Wrestling is you out and James probably I think. Not sure.
Ric Flair back in the ring and Koko waiting on him. Dusty, who knows the champion so well, telling Koko, don't let him slip up on you. Flair got back in that ring.
Koko was a tough son of a gun. It was a
Flair massaging his jaw where Koko caught him with a solid right hand.
not the best interviewer in the world, but
Champion
coming up,
ties it in with a
got
challenger.
better at that, and phase one.
Scissors him. Ware
It was
going
great.
down. Look at him
Now,
trying to
Memphis
get
is
out of the
not
way.
known for his wrestling
He
style,
can't get a good
but as
solid
you can
ride on
see,
him as
Koko
too
is
fast.
staying with,
Out of the way.
absolutely
Stands up
staying
to
with
Ric
Ric
Flair.
Flair.
And
Absolutely.
Nature Boy
Jesse
having a
Allen,
little
the
different look.
referee.
He is getting mad now. This time he goes in behind once again. Koko Ware spins. Flair out on the
Richard
floor. He
Hood
can't
Cat
hold on
says
to
that
him.
Jerry Oates and Dusty Rhodes are his
I
favorite
think he's getting
wrestlers.
hot now.
You know,
He is, Lance. I don't know
the,
if that
the
would be
Oaks brothers kind of went away from everything I was watching. They could go.
When they
They
lose
could
their
work,
temper,
sure.
they get it going, but some make a mistake so quick. We'll see how Flair is when he's hot.
Absolutely right, Randy. You can't tell how it's going to affect somebody is cagey. Nick Bockwinkel is one of those guys. When he gets mad, brother, look out, because he really steps up to another level.
That's right. Jerry Lawler, too.
Different because
Name a few.
Flair. Going to do a little test of strength. Coco took a
what I would
serious
say,
chop
even
right
to
under
another
the chin.
wrestler, say, hey,
Boy,
I
caught
play
him.
wrestling for
Maybe
Jerry
right
Lawler
at
and
the
WWE.
throat.
I wouldn't say that.
Coco is down and hurt.
I think Reggie ate Frankie.
And Ric Flair puts a boot on him now, pushes the referee back.
That's what happened to Frankie.
And the referee, Jesse Allen, says, wait a minute, let's not be pushing anybody
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, I don't know the referee, man. Who was
Coco
that?
back in the ring.
His
Flair
name's
whips him across
Jesse
the
Allen.
ring.
He's somebody at the time
Elbow
the
and
wrestler
face
brought
down
in.
goes Coco.
Now, Bill and Dee was back
10
working by
minutes
this
and
point.
30 seconds
Jesse
into the
was
action.
here
Coco
just
Ware
for-
down in the middle. Flair drops with a knee right across the head. Says to Dusty Rhodes, you want
That's
some?
always
There's a
been something
tag.
he didn't
What?
have
I
to
mean,
do.
the tag.
It's just
The
such a
pin.
professional.
Got a one,
Because
two,
I was
and
sitting
Coco's out of
there,
it.
not calling times,
Foot
and
to the
this is the one
midsection.
problem. If you listen to it, Lance throws it to me several times doing the thing and the out,
Takes
and
the
then
arm around behind into a
right there.
hammer
That's a
position
great
on Coco
thing.
Ware. Ric
Certainly by this
Flair now
time,
taking
I'm
over.
probably
Boy,
a
it was that
sophomore
one
in
shot
college.
right at the throat that changed the tide. Really took it out of Coco. He's young and very resilient, so if he gets breathing room, he'll get that second win as Flair, he's got his foot on the rope. Dusty Rhodes going around to tell the referee, watch out. And once again, Flair with his foot on the rope, cranking that arm up. Rhodes
Who do
trying to
you
get the
favor
referee's
as world
attention to
champion?
say, watch
Here's
the
the
ropes.
list.
He's got his foot
I'll
on
give
the
you
rope.
Randy. Ric Flair, who would you have rather
Jesse Allen, the
seen
referee,
and
sending
you
Dusty
think
back
is
to
a better
the
world
corner.
champion? Ric Flair or Harley Race?
Oh, you know, I mean, Harley is what everybody chased most of my youth.
Snaps a bar on that arm and straddles right over Coco
At
Ware.
some point, Flair to me, now this is
Buries
Ric
his head
Flair
down
at his
into
very
canvas.
best.
And
No
Flair
question about that.
exercising
At
that
some point,
ability that he has,
he started
dominating the
acting
action
top
at the
wrestling.
moment at 12 minutes and 30
But this is,
seconds
I mean,
in.
Flair can work. No question
Flair
about
leans
that.
on the arm, and he
And
is
I
just punishing the
I think
face
one thing
of
you have to
Ware into
realize
that mat.
is that,
Coco
to
won't
my
give it up.
knowledge, going into this match, certainly,
He's trying to
Coco
get
had a
loose,
couple
but
days to
Flair,
think about it. Ric
you
Flair
notice
didn't
how
know if he
far
got
forward he is
into
to keep
Memphis.
that
They hadn't met
leverage
each
in
other
such great
before, to
shape
my
on
knowledge.
Coco.
And you go out there, there's no rehearsal, no walking through, none of that
Coco Ware
stuff, not
gets
going
that
to every
adrenaline flowing.
spot. They go out there
Comes up
and
to his
wrestle.
feet. The referee says, open your
I
hands.
wish that
And with that, Flair jerks him off the feet by the hair. Dusty Rhodes
but
telling
I
the
like
ref, ask the
this
people.
guy's good enough. You can't tell. You cannot tell. This match is so good, you can't tell the calling in the ring. Can you?
No, absolutely not.
We're going to have to cut away from this action, but we're going to be back. Ware trying to punch his way out of it. Slams with a right again. Big chop from Flair. Boy, he is catching him just right with that chop.
Matt, would you agree or
Right under
disagree
the chin.
with James' comment? He says Dundee and Coco are about the same size.
Ware
Coco made
deposited
it
among
big,
the
but Dundee
turnbuckles
didn't.
over there.
Good thought.
Dundee made more money than Coco through his career.
The
I'll
champion
give you
throttled
that.
him with that one.
And that's what it's all about. mean, they did stuff with him,
Oh,
but he didn't have
Don't
a
count him
big,
out.
huge money run. Probably wasn't paid certainly what he's worth. I mean, he's just so good.
Yeah.
Kogo, a little steam going from some of his punches, but he's still going at it. He's chopping away on Flair. The champion slumps to the corner at the turnbuckles. Dusty's saying, go in and get him. Go in and get him. Coco continuing with the chops. He had a little choke on Flair, and the referee stopping him as he blocked his arm. Flair dropped a knee in the midsection. Boy, there's an opportunist, to say the least. Reversal. Goes for a sleeper hold.
This is a contest
It
had very
presented itself.
exciting,
Coco gritting his teeth, trying to
typical
hold on.
NWA World
He's giving away
Championship
a height
match.
advantage
Oh,
to
yeah.
Flair.
Not a
As the
close
champion's job
one.
That's
is
the
to
way to
make the
nullify that
local
height
crowd
advantage. He's got him
feel
down on his
that
knees,
the
and he's
local
trying to tighten it
challenger
up.
could win. Flair was good at it. Harley was good at it. All of the NWA World Champions. And Nick Bockwinkel was good at it.
Dusty hollering to Coco, pull him down, pull him down. Flair
This was
trying to
for
get to the
November
ropes.
18th, 1985. It drew a gate of
Ric
$37,000 in
Flair
September.
right at the ropes, but
The
not
combined
him.
party
And down he
between Crockett
goes.
and Jarrett at
Coco.
Prince Alfaro Center did over
If he's got
$100,000.
enough strength
You
left,
can't go to the well too much. And
the champion
after
on
this
his
November
back.
18th, that was the end of the relationship of
Dusty's
Crockett
saying, don't
and
let
Jarrett
up, don't let
Promotions.
up. Foot on the rope. Oh, boy. What a move. Crowd booing it. Smart move by Flair, though, and the referee says, break it up. Took a lot of smoke out of Coco. He's putting up a brave front as he gives him a little bird. He's waiting on the champion.
A lot of other great videos.
Tags him with a
coming up.
right hand, another
Great
one.
conversation, little picture.
Flair. Still short of oxygen. His eyes rolling a little in the head, and Flair on the deck. Count of 1, 2. Flair blocks him, and boy catches him with that vicious chop. And dumps Coco as he picked him up, worked him into a side suplex as he snapped him down onto the back of the neck of Coco Ware. Coco
James Dundee
trying to
probably
get
got several
up.
thousand
Flair
dollars
pushes him down, jumps right in the middle of
because
the
he was a
midsection.
broker. Flair probably made a couple of $1,000, but Jarrett paid his time, but Crockett paid his, so I'm not sure
But he may have shot
about how much money
a lot of energy.
Ric Flair.
There's
I
that
would
famous
guess
figure 4 leg lock.
Coco,
Dusty Rhodes knows
maybe
this may be the
800.
beginning of the end for Coco
Complete
Ware.
guess.
He comes around telling Coco, don't give it up, don't give it up. He's got a killer hold on him. The figure 4 leg lock has put a lot of tough challengers out.
Pat, I believe we've showed this match before. Do you recall?
I don't, Randy, I don't remember seeing it. I really don't.
Ware close to the rope.
Well,
It could
maybe
be
we did
a
not show it, or
possibility.
maybe one of the
Dusty
rare
said,
weeks
come on,
that
come on,
you
come
missed the
on.
show. But that
Yeah.
don't happen.
I certainly never remember. I would have remembered seeing Dusty
Coco
there.
gets it over. Reverses the pressure. Flair lets up, comes out of it, and he broke the hold.
That's a good point, Doc. This may be the best match I've ever seen Ric Flair wrestle. And Coco's got a lot to do with that.
19 minutes and 30 seconds, and Ware broke the hold. Slips in, a slide, 1, 2. Woo! Coco with a shoulder. Thrown right out of the ring. Flair using his own momentum. Rick using this as a chance to get a little steam back. Coco pulls himself up on the ring edge. On the apron. Flair meets him and chops him. Over the top. I thought he was going to get a flip on it. He does. Gets him down. 1, 2. But Flair kicks out again. What a battle. Coco going for a figure 4. He's got it on Flair, but he's not as familiar, Randy, as Flair is with this. It may be a mistake trying to use that hold on him. 1, 2, and Flair comes up.
Agree with you, Lance. Coco using Ric Flair's fat hold, but it looks like he's doing some damage with him, Lance.
Oh, he's got powerful legs. That's where he gets that great drop kick. He's really putting the pressure on Ric Flair. Flair trying to roll over and reverse that pressure. Again, a 2 count. Flair grabs the rope, pulls over, and that is going to be a break. Coco's going to have to let it loose. Flair saying, hold it, hold it. Coco going after that leg. Wraps it around the ropes. Big chop. Coco and Flair trading licks. Nature Boy staggered in the middle of the ring. There's that big drop kick. Now he's on his home turf.
Oh, man, he was high in the air.
Crowd hollering. Dundee comes roaring in. Throws powder in Dusty Rhodes' eyes. Starts jumping up into the ring. Flair, meanwhile, taking advantage. Buries one on Coco. 1, 2, 3. He got him. Oh, boy. 23 minutes and 14 seconds. Being distracted by Dundee. Ric Flair takes advantage of it. I can't blame him for that. Plants one on Coco, gets the win. I can't blame him for helping Dundee now. Dusty was blinded by powder. Here comes Rhodes into the ring. He feels Flair out of the corner.
You can't win the match, win the fight.
Dundee.
Absolutely.
But the title dreams are all over for this night. The winner in 23-14 and still the world champion, Ric Nature Boy Flair.
As we now go to Pat Trammell for his thoughts as he's smiling, and here we go with Pat Trammell.
I have not ever seen that, and I never ever knew that Dusty was ringside there. I knew they had a match. That was one of the better matches I've ever seen Ric Flair wrestle. It really, really is. Uh, Man, that makes the night worth the 5.5 hour drive for sure. I wanted to make a comment about making money in Memphis versus WWE. I hope Coco made multi millions of dollars in WWE. But people have asked me before when we're talking about Memphis wrestling, people that aren't into it like I am. Why didn't Lawler, go to New York sooner? Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he go to Atlanta with Crockett and all that? Well, they were selling out the Memphis Coliseum uh, 3/4 of the time during the heyday. They were making all the money in the world and not having to travel so much. So I think, and I go back to Cornette. He talked about in the heyday of Memphis wrestling, and he's done the math. And per capita, if you got as many fans from New York City as you did in Memphis, population wise, coming to the matches, you would have sold out Madison Square Garden 3 times a week for 8 years. you know, and so there was plenty of money to be made in Memphis, and the furthest drive you had was to Louisville once a week. And they were doing, box office business for years there too. And I don't know how many. What did the Louisville Garden seat, Randy?
About 6,500.
6,500. And in the when WWE and it was WWF at the time or WWF at the time, they were running Madison Square Garden once a month, and then up and down the eastern seaboard into Maine, etc. The Memphis, Mid South Coliseum was running every week and getting 8 to 11,000 people. So there was plenty of money to be made in Memphis, and you also it cost less to be in Memphis, and you got to be a celebrity in your hometown. So, but that was an incredible match. I can't believe that. Is that on YouTube?
Yes.
I cannot believe I've never seen that, and I'm gonna go back and watch it again uh, at 9 o'clock.
All right. Very, very good. Before we get into the next video, I want to go to the picture selection. Adam, I will put the first one out unless you can find it. It's 5956, and it let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 5 rows up. It's 5956. If you could go ahead and if you can find that 5956, and if you can, I'll go ahead and put it on very much. There he goes. And here's Pat Trammell to guess who this is.
Well, it's got it on there.
Okay.
But I'm curious as to when that was. That is Lou Thez in his heyday.
Against Jackie Fargo.
Against Jackie Fargo.
And I don't think that's his heyday. I think that's later in his career. This is in 1973, 1974, and they wrestled to a time limit draw. This is the fabulous Jackie Fargo and Lou Thez. I, of course, in Jonesboro saw Lou Thez wrestle several different times when he was not in his peak. How about you, Pat?
I never saw him wrestle. I met him one time, and he was well into his 60s at the time. But Randy, I wish I knew what year that was. But I mean, he's still in wrestling shape there. I know that he, what I've been told by Jerry Jarrett is he was always trying to come around and get a paycheck. Until they just quit booking him. But I mean, he looks like he's in shape there, and Fargo does too.
It's 73 or 74 for sure.
Okay.
I'm guessing 74. for. And somebody's asking about the building. The watcher, asking, wasn't the garden an expensive place to run? Honestly, not really, and certainly not as uh, certainly at the end of the day, the Coliseum and the Louisville Gardens both was a percentage deal against the guarantee. It was always into the percentage, and because the Coliseum was normally drew better in the early days, certainly they got out with more profit. But certainly it was one of those things for sure. Now, Adam will go with the next picture. That was pretty cool. Luthez and the fabulous Jackie Fargo. As we
I have a question, Randy.
okay, let's
Do you know when Thez's championship run was over?
in the '60s.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
maybe 65. I'm not sure about that. I am sure we can check on that. Somebody can search that for us, and we'll go with the next thing. This is a recent meet and greet at a nursing home in West Tennessee, about 30, or East Tennessee, 30. I'll get it right. No, it's near Nashville. This is one of my favorite riding partners ever. This is Frank Morrell, the French Angel, and we show several pictures of the great legendary who spent a lot of time for Georgia Championship Wrestling. And let's just make sure we go ahead and show all three of those pictures of Frank Morrell, if you would there. Frank looks happy there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he
I
does.
love it. The Angel, Frank Morrell. I certainly love the the Angel, Frank Morrell, for for sure. Tony Richards says Gene Kaniski defeated Lou Thez January the 7th, 1966 in St. Louis for the NWA title, ending Thez's run. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. I was
Everybody, check out the Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel with great stuff. And I think we'll go with the very next picture after Frank, and this is Chattanooga Television and a picture of that. This is 5929, 5929, Channel 12 Wrestling. What do you think? Look, do you remember those old time TVs? I bet the kids today never seen a TV like this in their life.
I'll tell you what, that was after a house and a car. That was the most major purchase in a household, and I'll guarantee you, somebody paid $8 a month for about 3 years for a TV that nice.
Very nice TV. All right, Pat, we are going to change gears a little bit, and I am sure, as you're certainly like keeping that, especially history of Jerry Jarrett, and you know the thing, and it's there was a lot of jealousy that ended up, and hard feelings ended up, and near territory. I hate to say word stealing, but that would be what it was. There's a lot of attempts of different things because of this. He certainly in 1981, 1982, when Jerry Jarrett built Cumberland Place, and we are going to go through those pictures, and we'll just let Pat comment with everyone. At the time, it was, and they've changed house numbers now. It was 467 Cumberland Hills Drive. You see the houses in the background all the way back. Back in the day, Pat, that was a farm, the Jerry Jarrett farm. There was a barn back there. There was all kinds of stuff. This is Cumberland Place. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but what certainly built in around 82. What a beautiful home on the very left. Looking at the picture was a 4-car garage and the office. Then then the ballroom that's now a fancy dining room there, and then the living room area, um, and then the bedrooms going back to the other end of the house. And we're just going to go ahead and look at all these pictures. This is Cumberland Hills Place.
I'll make the comment, Randy, on Jerry Jarrett had and I've said this before, and I'm sure most of our friends know it, but Jerry had an open house and invited all the wrestlers, and you see the two big wings there, and the story goes that Dundee and Lawler came in, and Dundee looks at Lawler and said, "Which wing did you pay for, and which wing did I pay for of the house?"
True story, more pictures, and this is a closer look at the front. A big house, Pat.
A big house. A big house. Yep. I've never seen the inside, any pictures of the inside.
I thought you would enjoy this.
Yeah.
This is the ballroom. They made it into a fancy dining room, and apparently he bought this dining room table from overseas, and I forgot how much money this was, but it was, well, this is just elegant, no doubt about it.
You need some fancy pot passers for a table that big.
I'm telling you, for sure. And it was a 10,000 square foot. This is the wrestling office, but these people, well, they're willow houses is where I found pictures, and certainly there have been updates and that sort of thing. The office was in the same place. That door goes outside to the garage. There's another door to one door that goes to a bathroom, and then one door that goes to the rest of the house. The desk was moved to, you see the white cabinets to the left of the picture, that where Jerry Jarrett's desk was, and then across there were couches and chairs where the window was, and that's where, whether it was me or Jeff or Dundee, Randy West, whatever, where the booking meetings took place, and then Jerry Jarrett was at his thing. So that gives you a little bit of that.
Randy, do you know the address now?
Yes, I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, I was going to look up the value.
Over $2 million.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The swimming pool, I think they had a swimming pool, then didn't have a swimming pool, then they put a swimming pool in, and as William said, the Clampetts would call it the fancy eating room. I think he's right on that. But Pat, I basically did this segment for you.
Okay. All right.
You enjoy it.
Yeah, I did.
More video coming up right now, but we got to pay the bills. Not really, because we don't get paid for the show, but we like giving ourselves a little break, 10, 15 seconds. We'll take a break and be back. More action coming up, people. I think you'll enjoy USWH stuff. 30-minute video coming up next on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Snowbird's back in the Mid-South again with a word from Snowbird. He's bringing sound advice for school kids, and the Bird and all the gang will be on TV5 throughout the week with safety tips and advice for the whole family. Watch for a word from Snowbird 3 times each Saturday, once early morning, again during Championship Wrestling, and once more Saturday afternoon. Brought to you in part by Turner Dairies, Maxi and TV5.
All right. You like that, Pat?
That's great stuff. That's great stuff.
Fantastic stuff. Now, started booking in 94. In 95, of course, was the Smoky Mountain USWA feud. A lot of good from Memphis Memory Zone. A lot of good stuff going on. It was exciting time to be around at this point. The WCW Nitro and the Monday Night Raw, and it was getting to be the point where it was about to be the beginning of the end for Memphis Wrestling. In about a year at the Mid-South Coliseum, it was hard to draw on Monday night. However, things going good in 1995, and I'm trying to look at this. This is November the 18th of 95, and what happened, Pat, is they were doing constructions in the studios of WMC. So we had to put a show together, and we sent the cameras every Monday to Memphis anyway, but we go to Louisville, we go to Nashville, we do the ins and outs, some of them from Memphis. We were out for about a month. So you will see a different type of show, that it was not live, it was put together, and this is a highlight of the November 18th, 95 show, and I think this is the Evansville feed from all over the territory. So it's not the 90-minute show, but this, Adam, is a 32-minute, 16-second video. This is USWA Wrestling from 11/18/95. And Pat, did I set that up where you understand it? Do you know what we're about to see?
I don't know exactly what we're about to see, but I'm anxious to find out.
Rotate, Adam. Here we go.
Blood gets flowing and everything starts going when those matches hit that ring in there.
Got that right, eh?
Yeah, I know that, Bell. Whoa, we got some visitors. I guess we better get ready for the show.
Hey, sounds good to me.
That was unusual. First time since 1977 out of that studio. Again, we had no other choice. I wonder if Adam likes this opening.
Hello again, everybody. Lance Russell with Corey Macklin right alongside, ready to go with another USWA Championship Wrestling. The first of two special shows, Corey, that we're going to be doing on the road. They're doing some construction in our regular USWA studios, and it's a good thing it gets us out into the atmosphere and lets you have an opportunity to take a look at some different scenery and all. I'm tickled to death. Sorry Dave couldn't be with us.
I am too, but hey, I
I
know he's on watching, because this is one of those must-see shows, fans. Let me tell you, what a day we got today, Lance. We'll take a look at Ahmed Johnson's first defense of that unified world title. Yeah,
and we don't see the whole hour show, so we're not going to see everything they talk about here, Pat.
Brian Christopher Tex Slazenger. What about that was? We'll take a look at some highlights from that one, and we'll go back in time to Louisville, Kentucky. One of those bouts, man, I love. I tell you, Lance, one of the greatest bouts I've ever seen. Rock and Roll Express and PG-13. And hey, also we're going to have
nothing but
information on the Armstrong deal that's going on, and a big surprise. Double J Jeff Jarrett.
want to tell you, when he came popping out last week, I got to tell you, it was a thrill and a half. And I know it's one that you're going to want to see. That isn't all that we've got. We've got plenty of other things to cover for you. We'll be going back and taking a look at a classic match that Jeff had. There's lots of them, but this is going to be a dandy that I know the folks are going to enjoy. So guess what we'd better do? Get ready. Take on off. We'll take a break. We'll be back with Ahmed Johnson, the Unified World Heavyweight Champion, in a moment.
Now, Randy West would have put this complete show together
Oh, we were
for
right
the
along
heading.
with all the people that were stunned here a
would
while
have bring
back.
cameras on the
Ahmed
stand-ups
Johnson, who was
with
a
Lance
sensation in
and
the
Corey Macklin.
WWF, undefeated up to that point. But I don't think that I really thought, and I don't think many people really thought, he had much chance taking that title away from the wily veteran Jerry the King Lawler. But son of a gun, when it was over, we had a new unified world heavyweight champion,
We
Corey.
sure did, Lance. It was a stunner, and you know better than I do, being in the business so long, that it's a difference when you come in as a champion than you do when you are a challenger. And Ahmed defended that unified world title here in the USWA.
We had our first look at him against Tracy Smothers. Let's see the highlights of that match.
Ahmed, so impressive.
Boy, that Bruno, he can find every story in the
But
world.
really,
that
wrestling
guy.
wasn't for
I'm
him.
telling you what. He was saying the photographer tripped his boy. Tracy trying to lift Ahmed up. Whoa! Now he reversed it. Johnson with Smothers in the
Yes,
air.
James, this was
Powered
before
him
Jeff turned heel.
down. Johnson goes up, climbs the ladder. He's at the top rope as Bruno comes over and pulls a foot out. Smothers drop kicks him in the corner, and the champion goes down on the floor.
Tracy Smothers
on
from
his
Springfield,
back.
Tennessee.
Bruno pulled
A
his
great
feet out from
wrestler,
under on the turnbuckle.
super,
Tracy
and he
drop
was a
kicked
tough
him,
son of a
and
gun.
now
Yep.
Tracy whipped him over there into the metal railing. Tracy Smothers showing when he gets things just right. He'll go in there and go after the big man. Smothers. Frankly, it would be a major upset if he was able to pick up a win and that title tonight. Smothers goes to his tights. Smothers passing something off to Bruno while the referee was distracted. And Smothers rips him across the eyes. And once again, into the ropes and over the top rope. Should have been a disqualification if the referee was looking.
Ahmad was a huge guy.
Trying to stooge off.
Now, who's the ref there,
Tracy.
Randy?
We saw his picture a little earlier. That's the Angel. That's the Swirly. That's Frank Morrell.
All right.
Finding out what the thugs are like. This is what Smoky Mountain's doing. They'll pull this kind of stuff on you. He just may get that sleeping giant awake as Smothers drags his eyes across the rope.
10 minutes past in this unified world title bout. 60 minutes for wrestling. 10 minutes past.
10 minutes past, 50 minutes to go. Tracy Smothers making quite an impressive show. We'll also have to tell you about how he did it, but he's staying on top of the champion right now. Turns the arm under, catches him with that.
I wouldn't be surprised if
right
Vermont
in the head.
went back to
And
Vince
Smothers
and complained about
Heads
this
to
match.
the ladder, up the turnbuckles. Johnson in the middle of the ring. Here comes Smothers. Leaps into him with a flying shoulder block and puts Johnson down. I'm stunned.
Because I
Corey.
guarantee you, Pat,
I'll tell you, I'm shocked
Ahmad
myself.
is a big dude, but in a street fight, he couldn't have whooped
Boy, he
Tracy.
just lifted Smothers up. Threw him high in the air. Smothers
Tracy
lands,
would, by hook or crook,
climbs
probably got
again on
crook.
the top rope. He's up there. Oh, catches that big boot of
This is
Ahmed
not that great a
Johnson.
match,
And
man.
I do mean big. Johnson backs him up, whips Smothers into the ropes. Look at this. Big power slam from Ahmed Johnson. Johnson comes off the ropes. Swoops down with that leg on the
A
back
little
of Tracy
different
Smothers.
than the
Oh boy,
Ric
set
Flair
Smothers up now.
Coco Ware
Kicks
match
him
we
right
saw
on
a
the
few
side
minutes
of the
ago,
head.
Pat.
Yeah.
Look at Johnson. Snatches
Well, we
up
knew that.
down Bruno. He's got Bruno high in the air. But look out. Smothers from behind. He nails Bruno. Johnson sets up Smothers. Look at this one. Big power slam. He got him. Matt Johnson gets the win in 11:50. He successfully defends the unified world heavyweight title. Ahmed may have the title for a while. We'll take time out. Be back with more action in just a moment.
You kind of like it set up, Pat, not the studio show.
Well, I think everybody
It's
knows how
interesting.
the Armstrongs have been messing up things around here for
yeah.
far too
Different.
long. Last week it all kind of came to a head. We want to go back and take a look at
This
the
is
things
great,
involving
great.
Eddie Marlin,
is great
involving
stuff.
Jesse James Armstrong getting a
Just watch
surprise
this. This is
package,
storytelling.
and the return of Double J. Let's take a look right now.
And all the wrestler clothes are gone as Eddie Marlin takes his jacket off. A challenge here, and this is what everybody in Nashville, Tennessee are coming to their feet to see. A challenge as the people chant Eddie Marlin.
Hear the people chanting, Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. Bob Armstrong, the no good son of a gun, attacks Eddie Marlin on his way in.
No referee is the referee. Eddie nails him with a big
Listen to the people, Pat. Listen to the people. Look at those forearms. Man, I'm really going here. Oh, look at these Smoky Mountain thugs here.
Get Eddie Marlin out. Damage on Eddie. Eddie Marlin had him, and here comes everybody else as they're nailing him out. And Bob Armstrong has a figure 4 leg lock on Eddie
Here comes
Marlin.
Doug Gilbert.
Armstrong
PG-13 trying to
break
get
Eddie
in. The
Marlin's
thugs
leg
got us
as we have
outnumbered.
a bad situation here in Nashville, Tennessee.
You want your cane? Oh, now come on, Armstrong.
This was in
Eddie's
Crenshaw,
hurting there and
Mississippi.
walking around with a cane
On a Friday
tonight here in
night.
Crenshaw.
I was
Armstrong's
not
making
there.
fun of him.
I'll tell you the reason
That's
why
not
in a
pretty
few
at all,
minutes.
Jesse James Armstrong. I tell you, look at Armstrong. This guy, I tell you the truth. Shows like, hi, come on, Jesse. It's referee Bill Rush. Come on. What in the world is Armstrong doing? Nails referee Bill Rush. Nailed Eddie Marlin out there. He nailed Eddie with that cane, let me tell you. Picks it. Oh, my goodness. Got Eddie cut open there. Eddie Marlin busted.
How old is Eddie here, Randy?
By Jesse James Armstrong. Come
He was
on.
born in 30. This
That
was
kind of stuff.
95.
Absolutely ridiculous. Jesse James Armstrong
Still working,
jumping
65.
on Eddie Marlin in there. Drops the elbow down on Eddie. Again, oh my goodness. Jesse James Armstrong nailed Eddie Marlin with his cane in there and busted Eddie open. He's got Eddie bleeding. Oh, Eddie Marlin being worked on in there by Jesse James Armstrong. Tech challenger, Stephen Dunn and all of. Come on. Put that figure 4 leg lock on, Eddie. Hey, come on, Jesse. Hey, break that stuff, guys. Come on. That is, I tell you, that is absolutely ridiculous. Come on, Jesse. Leave him alone.
That's called heat, Pat, my friend. That's called heat.
Man, I tell
That's
you.
heat right there.
Jesse James Armstrong putting that figure 4 leg lock again on Eddie Marlin. Here comes Brian Christopher, PG-13 in there.
Here comes the cavalry.
Delivery. What's this say? Special delivery from the Bahamas, it says, Lance, for Jesse James.
You are about this whole situation. Look, that must be from Daddy.
Special delivery from the Bahamas to Jesse James Armstrong.
Yeah.
What have you had delivered in here now? We got cake all over the
No,
place.
I got a special party present I get sent by my daddy. I'm so happy.
Whoa! Double J! Jeff Jarrett! Ripping out of the special delivery package, and there he goes! Chasing Jesse James Armstrong, Jeff Jarrett! Out the back door!
It's serious business when you get in the parking lot, Randy.
Wolfie D, they're trying to gain Jeff back. They got a hold of Jeff out there as Jeff Jarrett surfaces from underneath the box and attacks Jesse James Armstrong and runs
That's right, Don.
tail right on out of
And
here.
certainly Jeff Jarrett was over before he ever got out of the box. First time in 5 years that Jeff Jarrett was in that studio. He
Wow.
left. He went to the WWF.
Oh, hard to believe.
He
I
had
can
a
remember the
situation
very first
where he
match
had a
that
falling
Jeff
out with
Jarrett
McMahon.
had.
He didn't want to. He was
Why don't
under
you say we go back
contract.
and take a look at one of
He
those great matches? from
could
Jeff
not
Jarrett?
wrestle for us.
Our next spot of the evening
He could not
from
wrestle for
Oklahoma
us,
City, Oklahoma.
Pat, until
Chris
he
Curtis.
got a release. He thought he would get it, but I couldn't go to the Friday town. Jeff, it was
Here's
supposed to be
opponent.
the The release was supposed to be flown into the Nashville airport and get there at 4:30 in the afternoon on a Friday. So if he would have got the release, he wouldn't have come.
The referee is Robert Ward, now down to ringside with
Adam, can we fast forward through this? And you probably know why.
A very good-looking young man is
Jeff Jarrett.
Our first opportunity to look
Is there
at
any way to do that?
very colorful wrestling tights.
Just to give you an idea how far this young man's come in professional wrestling.
Move. But he is in command and control.
Gotta tell you, there were a lot of smiles around when that box came up and Double J comes out, fist flying in there, no bigger smile than mine. It is so great to see you back there.
Lance, you don't know how good it was to be back. And I wanted to make it special because the USWA, this area really is special. WMC TV in Memphis is really a place I hold real close to my heart because I've been around this place. I remember you knee-high to a grasshopper, and I've grown up in this area. You, Dave, a lot of the people, the USWA fans, are real special to me, and I was really tickled to death to come back home, and it was a great occasion.
Well, you have been everywhere, all over the world since that time, gotten big, and I want to tell you this, Jeff, this is an honest fact. A lot of guys have said to me, what's this Jeff Jarrett like, you know, and that's because there are promoters who have had boys that have gotten into the business and all. They say, what's he like? And we know what some of them are like. And I tell them everyone, and I meant it exactly. Here's a guy that deserves everything that he got. Hardest working guy, first one in the gym, always studying tapes and films, looking at how people wrestle. Jeff, I mean it. You deserve everything you've earned.
Well, Lance, I really appreciate that because I'm pretty proud of myself because, like you said, I have worked hard, and I've been in the gym every day, and I pride myself on being the biggest USWA fan because I go way back. Great wrestlers have come out of this area. Jackie Fargo, the Fabulous Ones, Bill Dundee, Jerry Lawler, my dad, Tojo Yamamoto. The list goes on, and I've studied those guys. And then when it's got my chance, everybody said, oh, boy, he was lucky. He became the Intercontinental Champion, you know, and he's made it to the big time. That guy sure has gotten lucky. Well, Lance, my definition of lucky is like the old saying, when preparation meets opportunity, then you become lucky. And I prepared myself. I got the opportunities, and I worked hard, and I think I've achieved pretty good success.
By golly, you have done that. And I'll tell you one thing, you had to be ready because all of a sudden you came back in, not just a match, but everything. I mean the USWA promotion against the Smoky Mountain promotion all on your back when you met Jesse James Armstrong.
Mm-hmm. You know, Lance, that match was real special to me for a number of reasons, and I touched on it last week. When I made the commitment to sign with the WWF, I gave up, you know, we've talked about it, you know, at length since over the last week. I gave up a lot. I gave up my family. I wasn't around for Jason and wasn't around for Jennifer, and when Norma went in the hospital, you know, it was tough on all of us. And I gave up a lot of things, and I sacrificed a lot of things. And I felt that this match was something that I felt that I could make up for a little bit of lost time. And a lot was riding on my shoulders. And then we get to Brian Jesse James Armstrong. And me and him were real close at one time, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I handpicked him, Lance, out of hundreds of guys to be by my side. And then he wants to come in here, and he wants to take over what you, what Dave Brown, what Jerry Lawler, what my dad, what a lot of guys have sweat and blood and tears, and my grandmother, Christine Jarrett, we've all worked so hard for the USWA, and he wants to come in and try to take it over in one night. Well, I'm just happy the way things came out because I would have, he'd had to kill me before I'd give up this area.
That preparation was there, and you made it pay off. Well, as you can well imagine, Jesse James Armstrong wasn't too happy about the whole affair. Sit right here with me a minute, and let's take a listen and hear what he has to say, if you can understand his ranting. Take a listen.
Double J, Jeff Jarrett, you robbed me. Everybody here knows it, and everybody there knows it. Double J, you and all your USWA cronies robbed me and my father of the Smoky Mountain organization. Well, it's not going to stand, and you're not going to stand for long, Double J. Yeah, the road dog is talking to you now. Remember when I used to talk to you? I used to help you. I carried you from the slums of the World Wrestling Federation and put you on top of the mountain. I did it. I, Jesse James, that new age outlaw, robbed Razor Ramon and gave the title to you. I felt like Robin Hood stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. Well, now it's all coming down this week. Organization and organization versus my hair. USWA and Smoky Mountain versus this head full of hair. Double J Jeff Jarrett, you got another thing coming. This week, I'm going through you like a runaway freight train, and nothing short of a brick wall or a 9mm is going to stop me. You are going down.
I think you got his attention, Jeff.
To say the least, Lance. And you know, I know Brian Armstrong better than anybody in this area. Because in the WWF, when things wouldn't go his way, I saw him rant and rave and cry. And then on a personal side, I saw how Brian reacted when things didn't go his way, and he hadn't got a lot of heart because he cries and always blames somebody else. It's always the other guy's fault. Well, Brian, it was your fault in this match. It's your fault that you lost the Smoky Mountain. You lost control of the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Organization. Well, this week, yeah, there was a clause, and you know about it, Lance. There's a clause in the contract where both titles to the company, control of Smoky Mountain and control of the USWA, are on the line this week.
Right.
And
but I love this other stipulation.
I know you would, and nobody loves it better than Double J Jeff Jarrett, because, Brian, I know how much your hair means to you. Those silly-looking braids, and you think you get a lot of attention. You think that people walk around and say, oh, you walk in a McDonald's, or you walk up and down the street, or walk in the matches, and Lance, what's he say? Oh, everybody's talking about my hair. Well, Brian, everybody's laughing at you because you're a big goof. You've messed up everything you've ever done in your entire life. And now this week, oh boy, you're going to be so humiliated, and I'm going to enjoy it. Because it is the holiday season. And Lance, oh, what a present it's going to be. Because I'm going to pin your shoulders to the mat. No, I might not pin him. I might put him in the figure 4 and make him give up. Ooh. Then he's going to have to sit in that chair, Lance. And you've seen it done several times. A lot of times, a lot of hair matches in the USW over the years. But this is going to be real special. Because I've shaved some heads in the past. But this one, Brian, I have to admit, you're the closest guy that I've ever shaved. Because I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to do it myself. And you're going to be so humiliated.
I love that.
Brian, you just wait till match, big boy. Because old Double J, that's right. It's J-E, double L. J-A, double R-E, double T. That's Double J, Jeff Jarrett, the world's greatest singer, the world's greatest wrestler, and Brian, when I get through with you, the world's greatest barber.
Thanks, Jeff Jarrett. Back in just a moment.
That's good stuff.
All right, let's go ahead and come out of that all the
Lance
way.
Russell and Corey Macklin right here in the
As we
Mid-South
wanted to just
Coliseum
show
doing
you
first
a
of a
little
couple of very
bit
special
of that
USWA
particular
Championship
TV
Wrestling
show, and so we can all the way come out of that as you can look for USWA TV highlights from Mid-South Coliseum 11/18/95 USWA. I am sure that you have not seen that entire clip we just saw, but your thoughts from the entire thing, Pat Round.
Well, as you know, I have a theory that the best way that territory wrestling could survive was feuds between territories, and I know you had a lot to do if you wasn't running the whole thing with the USWA Smoky Mountain feud, and I think it's just some of the best TV of the era.
Yeah, it was all us, it was a Memphis angle for sure. Yeah, I'm very proud of that. It was just very good stuff. It's personal issues draw money. I thought that's the first time when I was doing research for this show since we did the show. I almost forgot that it happened. Obviously, 1995 was a long time ago, Pat. It was November of 95. That's been a minute or so ago.
I had some hair.
Did you?
A little bit, yeah.
That is good. Good stuff. We appreciate everybody certainly watching Talking Memphis Wrestling today. And we're going to do one more deal. And if we could go full screen with me for just a second. I'm trying to get in my head, Pat, of what to say here. If everybody would just give me a second. because I'm trying to decide what to say and what not to say. I was rocking and rolling, going all the way, 94 and 95. Obviously made bad decisions during that time period. Had so many highs and so many lows. Business was certainly great. Toward the end of 95, even though Jeff came back, the Monday Night Wars were going. Memphis died. Louisville stayed up. Evansville and Nashville, but Memphis just died, and it was so frustrating. And I turned to vices, and whether it was drinking or pills or worse, I got me in a situation where obviously I can say that I've been totally sober from everything, uh, probably from 1996 on. It came to a point I was making bad decisions. I ended up having a car repossessed. I was about to be uh, kicked out of my apartment because I couldn't pay for it, and I didn't know Pat Trammell then. These days, not because of drugs or whatever, just because of life. Sometimes Pat's had to build me up. Back then, there was no Pat Trammell, and certainly I couldn't ask Eddie Marlin because I didn't know. I didn't want him or Jerry Jarrett or Jerry Lawler or anybody else to know where I was spending my money. This was a bad time of my life, and I can honestly tell everybody from the time I made the decision. I remember it very well. Uh, Talk about in my book. Attempted to do something uh, very desperate, very uh, def, desperate on a Monday night. Once I got home to Nashville, very desperate, and certainly, um, thank God that didn't happen. And then I came to the decision I needed a break. So that Tuesday night in Louisville, Jerry Lawler was there. Jerry Lawler was there, and I said, "Hey, King, we've been doing this a couple of years straight. I'm burned out. Will you take over? I need to go back home to Jonesboro." Didn't tell him the details. Didn't tell him I had to move out of Nashville. Didn't tell him I was at my wit's end. Didn't really want to live. I wanted to take a leave of absence, and at that point, I didn't know if I would ever come back. But so I asked him to take over the book, and I said, "When I'm ready, I'll let you know." And so I moved back to Jonesboro, and I took some time off, and finally, when I got ready to come back, I thought it was better to come back just with Lawler still booking and me kind of figuring a way how to come back and pitching that idea, but I wasn't ready for the pressure at all. I wasn't ready for the pressure in any way to take control. And several months later, I did take control, but at this point, I was strong, had my mind back, and had no demons. But before I go and show you the saga of Randy Hales and how I decided to come back, and we've showed that before. Certainly, I want to shoot straight and talk about, even though I talked about it in my book, for you guys that did not know uh, this story. I wanted you to know that story, and Pat, that set up before we watched the tape. That wasn't real easy for me to explain anytime I see it. But just your thoughts on that before we go to the tape of how I decided to come back.
Well, I mean, I'm glad of that, and Randy, you and I have talked about that a little bit, but not a whole lot. And you know, it, we all have had times in our life where we've, if whether it's stress or pressure or bad habits or whatever, and I've certainly been there. Okay, I've certainly been there, and I admire so much you pulling yourself up and getting back on the track you've been on ever since. I did not know you, and you grew up in a stressful industry that was going in a lot of different directions and not necessarily up, and Rusty just commented, and that's right. Your book describes that very well, and part of that for me, you and I, we didn't work on your book together, but we were talking about it while you were putting it together, and some of that was hard to write, and some of it was hard to read, and I would recommend everybody, have an opportunity to read that because it's a redemption story.
Living the dream, Randy. Living the dream, the Randy Hales story. And Adam, I'm sure at this point is going to put up a QR code or put up something where you can go to Amazon and certainly order that book, and they'll ship it right out to you. And again, Pat, we've played this before, and I wanted something shocking. Remember, I took myself off of TV. My name was not mentioned. Lawler was doing the booking, took it in a complete different story, and my name was not mentioned. Now, this particular day, I had typed out the idea, I faxed it. Remember fax machines?
I do indeed.
No emails back then, or not many. I certainly didn't have it back in 1996. As William says, he agrees with you. We all have those moments, Doc including, and redemption. Obviously, Pat, I wasn't aware of any issue you ever had or with William, and if as the older we get, the wiser we get.
Yeah, that's true. And sometimes our education is painful.
Now, here's a situation. Jerry Lawler knew, because I typed up and told him what I want to do and all that sort of stuff. It was not on the format. The announcers absolutely did not know this was going to happen. Absolutely 100%. The announcers then was Dave Brown and Corey Macklin. I got to television after the show went on the air. Lawler told me roughly what time it was, and then we had cell phones by that time in '95. So I called, and he ended up. I was hiding in the back because everybody was inside. He came around, and I basically he opened the door, and he said, "Go." And we'll watch the saga of Randy Hales from 1996, 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Beside the last take, this will be the final video of this show today, the saga of Randy Hales, 10:30 on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
The great victory. My goodness gracious, it's Randy Hales. Randy Hales on a leave of absence here. Randy, you've been on vacation, it looks like, and my goodness, this is not the way we're used to seeing you. Used to seeing him in a coat and tie here. You doing all right?
I'll get into that in just a minute. First of all, Dave, the reason you hadn't seen me here this morning is not a person in this world knew I was coming today. I just walked in the door. You say I'm on a leave of absence. Why don't you
Hello,
tell
Billy
the
from
people out
Carolina.
there today why I'm on that leave of absence?
Listen, Pat.
Well, I don't want to get into that. This is not the place to talk about it, Randy. You know as well as I do it isn't, Corey. No, Corey.
How about you, Bruno? I don't know.
Come on, Randy.
To be honest, I don't know. But what is it?
Randy.
Everybody listen to me.
I know there's some trouble. Let me just say I'm glad to see you again, but let's talk about it.
Dave, I thought this would be just like this because everybody back in the back behind closed doors in your weather office, what you do is you tell what's on your mind. Then when you come out here, you don't tell the truth. You're the company line, you protect everybody. But what I'm going to do today, everybody listen, I'm going to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and I'm going to expose a lot of things that's going around here. I'm going to expose a lot of things about this company.
Dave, what is Randy?
Dave, what I have to say is that you know,
remember, they had no
everybody here
clue.
knows it, that from the time I was 10 years old, I wanted to be in professional wrestling. Everybody thought it was a joke. Everybody thought I didn't have a chance at all. Everybody thought it was funny, but I fooled them, didn't I, Dave? The reason I fooled them is I worked harder than anybody. I worked my brains out day in and day out.
Yeah, you
and
did.
quite frankly, I was smarter than everybody else, and I became, from a 12-year-old kid selling programs to the person for the last 4 years been running this company. The highest rated TV show in the country is this show, is that right?
Yeah.
The only wrestling company that showed a profit the last 3 years is what company? This company, that's exactly right. And while I've been doing all the work, you know what's been happening? Let's talk about other people's contributions in this company.
Well, it takes a lot of people, you're right.
It's taken me for 3 years, only me, and everybody knows it. And I'm telling people here. Now, let's talk about the owners of this company. Let's talk about the owners of this company sitting in that big mansion on that big hill in Hendersonville. You hate them, Dave, just like everybody else, but you don't have the guts to say it. They drive their BMWs, right? They drive their Mercedes. They buy their yachts. Then what? How do they do it? The reason they do it, Dave, is that they're spending the millions of dollars I make for them in this company, and they don't share it with anybody else. How about Eddie Marlin? Stay away from me, Corey. How about Eddie Marlin?
This next line got heat.
What is Eddie Marlin doing? Have you seen Eddie Marlin lately?
No. Now listen, and you know as well as I do, there have been some health problems in Eddie's family.
No, the truth of the matter is Eddie got old and fat and lazy. What Eddie Marlin does, he
Good
sits
God,
on his couch.
man. Wow.
He sits on his couch. His wife sits on the other couch, and you know what? All they do is sleep and eat all day, and they spend more money on grocery bills than they paid me a week, and I'm sick of it. If your name's not Jarrett, and if your name's not Marlin, they don't care if you live and die around here, and that's the God's gospel, people. That's the God's gospel. And you know what it all did to me?
Randy.
All my hard work, you stay away from me. You know what all my hard work did? You know what? Have you ever been broke? Have you ever been broke, Dave?
Randy, no.
Well,
fortunately, I haven't. Randy, you got some problems.
Let me tell you what those
I didn't know it. Let's go back in the back.
Let me tell you what the problems are. I got evicted from my apartment. I got my car repossessed. I'm dead broke. You can have that because there's sure not any money in there. That's what happened, Dave. That's what happened.
Randy, I didn't know all of this. I didn't. And I'm your friend. Let's go talk about it. Corey, I'm not
going anywhere. After I left this, I didn't take a leave of absence. I told the people, I told them to shove it. I quit. And what's happened in the 5 weeks I've been gone? These shows are horrible and you know it. The talents are horrible.
Randy?
Who's out here? People like Mr. Coffee. How about him? Everybody
Randy, I'm going to ask you to go to the back. All right, Randy. Now, calm down. You got some problems. Let's talk about it. If I have to, I'm going to ask security to take you back in the back, Randy.
You stay out of this because you're the only person in the world who's been good to me. But you know this needs to be said, and I'm going to say it. What are you going to do to get me
I said
out of here?
I am going to ask security. If I have to, I don't want to do that.
Let me tell you,
Come on.
he's going to have security get me out of here. What have you ever done? What have you ever done? I've gotten my head busted out of this company. That's security. Bring the security on. You think they can do anything about it? I've gotten his. What can they do to me? They gonna hit me? Are they gonna hit me? Are they gonna hit me?
Come on, Randy.
Come on, Randy.
Y'all leave Randy alone. Let Randy go. Get him out of here,
Yeah, James, somebody come do it. Let's take a break. I don't know what's going on here, but that's not Randy. You know, I've got a little girl who's 1 year old, and out of everybody in this wrestling business, when she turned 1, Randy was the only guy that gave my little girl a present for her birthday.
That's right, because who cares? Get out of here.
Hey, you
come on.
If you don't talk about
Hey. Now, Randy.
Randy. You are the root of all my problems. No, I had money and I had cars too. I started associating with you. Yeah. You're the root of all.
What did I do, Randy? You worked hard at this business. How do you feel? How do you feel that I took all that from you? You took.
That's what Lawler. Lawler and I talked about it in that break. He told
look what Lawler said. Lawler talks about my kid.
Having problems.
Lawler talks about 1-year-old little babies, and I tell you what, that'll get your brains beat out. Billy, don't listen to him. Who's your friend here? Who's your friend?
You're certainly not. You were my friend when I was the boss and had a Cadillac. You darn sure hadn't been my friend. Have you called me?
Yes, I have, but you are never there. You don't answer your phone. You said you didn't want nobody from the wrestling business calling you. Even when I did call, you were never there, Randy.
The truth of the matter is that you should kiss the ground I walk on, because if it wouldn't have been for me, Wolfie D, you wouldn't be nothing. You'd still be in the hood because I made you. What was made you 13?
Wait a second. You didn't make me. What you did is you gave me opportunity to carry the ball, and I ran with it.
Come on, guys. You hear that, Wolfie D? That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying. You're nobody's friend. He's not been your friend. He made you like he said he did. Everything he says is true. You're the stinking liar right here. You're nobody's friend.
You don't need to be out here stirring nothing.
You're more of an idiot than he is. You're more of an idiot than he is.
Yeah.
He's more of an idiot. The whole time I've been around wrestling, he was the biggest prima donna.
No, you're the idiot.
You always came late. You always. I hate both of y'all. You both. Or what's up? Did you like you wrong? Did you do things wrong?
I've been your friend. He's a backstabber. He's backstabber. He's nobody's friend.
Hey, Randy, turn around here. Listen to me for a second. Listen to me for a second.
I'm not going to
listen to me for just a second.
Hello, soap opera.
These guys
Hey,
are bums. They don't
who's big
deserve
friends
being
with
around.
you? Hey,
I'm trying to tell you, I'm your friend. He's nobody's friend.
Hey, you don't even know friend.
We still got it. All right, that's it. That is it. Get him out of here. You two guys too. Both. Look,
Come on. I'm standing ready.
Dave Todd.
I'm ready right now for you.
all right, get out of here. I said it. We're taking a break.
Come in.
All right, it was.
Hey, listen, I've just talked back there to Randy Hales, and now everything that Randy said out there is true. He has lost his car, he's lost his job, he's lost everything. I'm going to make sure that Randy gets to these towns. Randy will be at the matches this week. He's going to be there Monday night. He's going to be, if I have to drive him there personally, I'll get him there. Do you understand?
Well,
Randy, I'm your only friend you got.
After talking to him and filling his head up with all that stuff and having him come down here today, interrupting the program.
I didn't have him come
Randy,
down
Well, you talked
Randy
to him
is-
this past week. And
Randy is our friend too,
blame
and
me.
you need to keep him under control. Randy obviously needs some help. I'll try
Yeah,
to talk
he's-
to him when we get
I'll
off
tell you
the
who
air.
needs some help. Brian Christopher and Wolfie D, they're going to need some help Monday night. And handsome Jimmy Valiant, you better watch your step, pal. There's going to be a lot of guys in that battle royal with you Monday night. You could you could be carried out instead of walking out of there.
Oh, boy.
That's right.
Do we have time?
Hey, Randy, come on. Come on, Randy.
They
Hey, no. Hey, come on, Randy. No. Hey, we got to get out of here. Talk about what now?
Will you make sure they know?
I
that
told
I'm
them,
not
Randy.
saying that it's the truth. It's Wolfie D, it's Brian Christopher, and these two people.
Randy?
Look at them.
No.
They come to TV every week. You know what they did? They tell me I like this and I like this and you shouldn't have this. Dave Brown thinks he's a big shot.
Okay,
at the
okay,
TV
Randy.
station. You think you're a big shot here.
Randy, come on.
This is not the time for this. Don't do this.
Come on, Randy.
You call me in your office. You call me in
Randy, come on.
Randy, you know that's not the way it goes down now.
Give us the microphone. Come on.
He doesn't know nothing about wrestling.
The idea, Pat, was to
We're out of
play
time.
a nervous breakdown.
We'll be back next week for Corey
what?
Macklin and for Jerry Lawler. I'm
My
Dave Brown.
idea was to play a nervous breakdown.
The announcers on this program are
Well,
selected
it
and
worked.
paid by parties other than this station, namely the
Damn.
promoters of USWA Championship Wrestling.
All right, so the floor is all you to follow.
So that was a work?
Not really.
Okay.
What do you mean by work?
Well, I mean, real issues, personal issues draw money.
Did I just go out there without anybody knowing? Lawler knew. The booker knew.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
The idea, once I got out there, it just came. I probably didn't do the word for word what I said on the paper, but here's the deal. Put a lot of thought into that show for sure. What we didn't get give thought into. What I didn't give thought into is what to do after that. I assumed he'd have me take over booking quickly. It was about a month and a half, and so in that month and a half, he had me manage people and that sort of thing, and it was not top guys, and so the follow up wasn't good. The follow up did not draw. Nothing was drawing at the time. It just didn't draw. It was so frustrating. It didn't draw. However, you have to say, as far as episodic television, that might not have sold a ticket, but it was good stuff for sure. Did you not think?
Oh, I thought it. I've never seen anything like that in Memphis wrestling ever. And you know that's saying something. I mean, I I I don't really know what to say to that. I mean, obviously Dave and Corey were shocked by it all,
Because they didn't
and yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah. And you know, and you've lived it, okay. And regardless of how long I've loved it all, I've never been on that side. I've never been on that side of the camera, and I've never seen how it really works. But it's interesting how Dave and Corey did not know what was coming, and the reactions, particularly from Dave, were were I mean real stuff.
I thought I was going to have to fight both of them.
I did too, and it
In
was
my mind, and I thought, well, that'd be good if I, but I couldn't hit either one of them because that would have been bad.
well, it was. I'm not going to say painful, but it was kind of scary to watch because I didn't know what was about to happen.
At that point, I was back in church, and certainly when I went back this run, I just went to the towns by myself and that sort of thing, and so I got that part fixed certainly, and no temptations. I just wish we had a better follow up. But as far as the angle, as Dr. Robinson says, it was scary,
It
and
was scary. That's a good way to put it, Doc.
you had seen it before, right, Pat?
No, no, no.
You were
I've
kidding.
never seen that. No,
You never
never.
saw the Randy breakdown?
No, no. I saw you come out with the sunglasses on.
Yeah, that was a Lawler idea. Mystery, that sucked.
No, I've never seen that.
It got heat uh, with Christine Jarrett knocking Eddie and Norma. However, I certainly you had to be real and to get heat, and when people knew my relationship with Eddie because he saved me with the Bob Armstrong thing in the Smoky Mountains, so the people knew my relationship with him. I I felt that it was important to just be real, talking about Jerry Jarrett with his BMW and the whole thing. So I watch it back. I'm thinking this was great stuff, and the people reacted to it, it good, and the whole thing. We just didn't have a follow up, and that again, been out off for a while, and I just didn't have the follow up, and the follow up we did just didn't work, and it is what it is. But certainly, um, it was good therapy, Pat, for me to today to relive that. Now, as we're coming to the end of this show today, your final take on today's Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Man, I don't know what my final take is. I'm still a little bit stunned by that whole thing. I mean, but what it tells us is really, and I've got on my phone, I've got a picture of that plaque. Personal issues draw money, and obviously, I thought often about when you and I have talked, and the little bit I've been around Dave and Shane and others. You know, um, behind the scenes, there's a business here, but there's also people that spend years and years together, putting wrestling together, and people like me don't realize that often enough. And it goes through years and it goes through up and downs, and you're dealing with people's livelihoods. And I'm sure there are people that just could not get over in Memphis that you really liked, but they had to go. And then you have a situation where you have a Coco that's taken to the WWE, and you have Lawler going off to the WWE, and it's an intense business. And I think sometimes uh, people like me, and I don't want to speak for our friends here, but lose sight of that fact. And it's a very intense business. And I think that was Exhibit A of that.
All right, we covered a lot of territory today. We saw the Coco Ric Flair NWA World Championship. We saw the USWA TV highlights from November the 18th, and we saw the saga of Randy Hales, little Power Pro stuff on next week's show. This has been fun. Thanks to Adam Dunn for producing. Thanks to Pat Trammell. Hopefully, Michael St. John and other panel members will be able to be with us. Pat and I, it's been like it was built to be many moons ago, back in 2019. It was just me and you, Pat, and I had a good time, and I appreciate it. Glad you're back. Did you say you ever got to see Shane in Pensacola?
Well, we were going to see Shane, but Shane had he had a personal issue he had to deal with, and all that's gone fine. So I didn't get a chance to see him, but I'll see him next time through.
For Adam, for Pat, for myself, and for Team Hales, that's a great audience. Enjoy the show. Be with us next Tuesday for Talking Memphis Wrestling. Until then, for Pat, goodbye, everybody.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales and special guests.
Uh, Shane's wife had to go to the hospital yesterday after.
Oh
no. I think she's okay. She got sick or something, and I called him, and he said, "Well, we're sitting in the emergency